Hello and welcome to this episode of the Intuitive Psychology podcast. I am one of your hosts for today. My name is Sarah Gregg and I am joined by my co-founder, my friend, the fabulous, the amazing. Is this a good enough introduction for you?
Oh yeah, keep going.
Jill Ritchie.
Woohoo! Here I am.
Hey! And today we are talking about authenticity and business. This is a subject that is very, very close to our hearts. We're going to bring you behind the scenes a little bit and share the real kind of raw, unfiltered truth of what it really means to hold your authenticity in business. The times that we've been challenged about our authenticity and everything in between.
I love it. As soon as you said that's what we're talking about today, my little belly went woo, because I've, as you know, Sarah, we've known each other for 7 years, and this is a subject I'm really passionate about. I think because I was in corporate for 21 years, and I think as a kid I was always like my authentic self, and then we learned to sort of arm it up and maybe change parts of ourselves. We know like about choosing attachment over authenticity, and I think I had my fingers burnt so much that at points I would come home from work, I would feel so confused about who I was. I had so many masks, and it wasn't even intentional, but everyone around me was doing it. And that's not me saying I was fake or two-faced. It's not that kind of mask I'm talking about. It was like who I had to be. I had to be a certain person at work. I had to probably be 4 versions of who I was supposed to be. One's for sort of CEO level, management, team, and then come home, and then I was a mom, and then a partner, and then a friend. And I remember looking in the mirror and feeling so upset. And I remember thinking, like, I actually don't know really who I am. And I remember in that moment asking myself that question as I looked at myself in my bathroom mirror, and this voice came in like, yeah, you do, you know who you are. It's just you're trying to be all of these different people for people, right? And I vowed when I left corporate, because that got me to a point where I was so stressed out, my hair was falling out, I didn't sleep, really struggled with my emotion, but felt shame around that. Corporate was different back then. You weren't allowed to share that you were feeling stressed or you were seen as weak. So that felt shameful. And I vowed when I left there that I would not pretend to be anything other than me. And I remember starting my business, and again, seeing people online. Now, so much has evolved online. Like when I was started, there wasn't a lot of coaches, life coaches doing that. And I remember certain things would resonate and other things wouldn't. I loved the idea of getting the professional photos done. That was like really nice and cool. But also I really wanted just to come online without makeup and be able just to speak the way I wanted to speak, share from the heart, speak the truth. And actually what that gave me was a real sense of, for the first time in many, many, many years, of truth and freedom. And that was my journey of, right, I have to do this, because so many people then connected with me and resonated with me sharing the truth, which felt scary. But I attracted the right people into my life when I started being really honest about how I was feeling. So that was a real moment for me.
Yeah, and I think you have always carried that authenticity through and with you, and it was a big reason as to why we connected and then, stayed in that kind of contact. My journey was different though. Like I definitely didn't have that radical commitment to authenticity. I think I was in corporate for a long time, used to work for universities, different like training organizations, left that job. Kind of, I think the spark initially came from a place of authenticity, undoubtedly. I went to this workshop, and I was living in Thailand at the time. For those of you who don't know, it's about 8 years ago now. I quit my job, sold all of my stuff, and kind of went on this journey with just a backpack to set up my business from literally nothing. And I went to this workshop, and at this time I didn't know if I was going to use my coaching. So I had been a coach, and I'd worked as a coach in a professional capacity for a large university as a business coach. But I kind of ditched it all because I felt like my life was falling apart. And then I went to this workshop that was kind of advertised around self-empowerment. And I'm not exaggerating. I wish that I was. I turned up to this workshop, and it was run as part of like the expat community, and there was this lady running it, and there was a room full of like 40 different women, all pretty vulnerable, all trying to find themselves, all at, you know, a kind of low, delicate part of their lives. And she said that she had the cure for this, and I am not joking. She handed out fridge magnets, actual fridge magnets, you know, the ones with the letters that you would spell out like your name or a word or something on your fridge. She handed them out, and she got people to rub them over the top of their heads.
Shut up.
I swear on
How do I not know this story?
Yeah, this is how I started my business. She ran them over the tops of people's heads. And she said, these magnets and my force can like remove all of this energy that's within you. And my face, for those people that know me, I have a bit of facial leakage. Like, I can say, if I'm not happy about something, my face will tell you in a heartbeat, like, I'm not happy about something. And I sat there and I was glaring at her, and I was like, I really want to put my hand up and say something, but, you know, and I kind of wish that I had it, but I kind of sat, and she said, I can tell that everybody in this room like needs help and that they need a shift. Apart from you, she pointed at me. Yeah, apart from you, you don't need it. And I thought, you bet that I don't, because you know that I'm going to call you out. And I walked back to my apartment at the time, and I was next level raging. Like, it was such a passion in me. And I went back, and I was speaking to my husband, Chris, and I was like, and this woman, and she's preying on vulnerable people, and da-da-da-da-da. And the next day I started the Power to Reinvent, because he said to me, but if you don't take your space in the world and do what you love and you're passionate about, Chris, like someone else will. So authenticity in that sense started my journey, because I felt this deep passion, but I really struggled to remove like the corporate mask, because I felt really safe behind it. Like, it's vulnerable, especially if you're listening to this and you perhaps are a coach, maybe you're even one of our intuitive psychology coaches. When you do work that matters deep within your soul, like, it is part of you. That's very different from being like, hey, I work for a university. It's like, hey, this is my soul and everything that I believe in. This is me. These are my thoughts. These are my beliefs. This is my deep-seated the purpose. It is in the fiber of my being. And I am now vulnerably exposed to and open to criticism. And I think that's why we struggle to be, well, that's certainly why I struggled. And I believe others, you know, struggle to be authentic with that, because it's sharing part of yourself. So for a long time, you know, I called my business the Power to Reinvent. FYI, don't call your business that if you've got a really strong Northern Irish accent and no one can understand when you say power, but hey, we go, you know, we did it, we went with it. But I kind of sat behind that brand. I sat behind my expertise. I showed elements of my life, but I definitely didn't bring people fully behind the scenes. I was authentic, but in a measured way and to a point. The real kind of authenticity definitely evolved with time as I felt safer and kind of showed myself evidence that it was okay to share parts of my personal story, because, you know, when I worked in corporate, you know, your personal life was your personal life. I know times have changed in the workplace, but certainly then it was like, you didn't bring your personal story, and also, your work.
It gets used against you back then. People, and let's call that out. In the past, and even maybe now, sometimes it's scary to really share parts of you, because sometimes we have moments in time where we're not feeling so good. It's a moment in time, and you maybe share that with someone and then they use it against you. Right? Yeah. And that's happened to me before. And we can feel like, hey, closed off, and I don't want to share that anymore.
And I was really frightened about the judgment as well, you know, but kind of coming out as a coach.
Well, yeah,
out of a coach.
Like, well, if you're a coach and a psychologist, and it's like, well, you should have all your shit together.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how are you struggling though?
Exactly.
You're not credible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was that. There was also like, how will my friends and other people judge me for that? Because I think there's this, and it was probably an element of my own kind of like shadow, my own projections of like, what will people say? Will people think, oh, there she is, you know, she thinks that she's got life all figured out, you know, all of these internalized voices that don't belong to me, but I've heard from other people in the past, they were creeping through. And so that the journey to really like be authentic and share my truth was definitely like more of an evolving path. And certainly within intuitive psychology, it has felt like all of those moments led to this, because we do get challenged on our authenticity within this by other people, don't we?
Yeah, I remember when I always found it easier to be authentic than I have this thing now. My body now reacts to something that is inauthentic to me. And actually, when we were doing IPA, I was really safe in Just Jill. So for those of you who don't know, I had my own business. She had the PAR event, and I had Just Jill coaching, right? And she loves herself, my other podcast. And so that was a really safe, I felt so safe, because I was like this like free like person, and you know, I don't know, it just without,
there was independence there.
Yeah, there was independence and safety and unfiltered. And so sharing so much of, you know, I didn't share every part of my life. There's some things that people don't need to know and they don't get to know about, you know, and we've said that before.
Yeah.
But I shared what I felt like I wanted to share, and that was big and bold, and things I'd never been able to talk about probably when I was in corporate before. But it was so freeing for me, and it gave me permission. It gave me confidence. And so when we then stepped into IPA, Intuitive Psychology Association, there was another shift for me again, because I had gone in from being free as a bird to then going into a partnership with you. Right? And then triggers being activated, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden I'm back to, oh no, I need to ask permission for stuff. Oh no, I need to run things by someone else now. And oh, do you know? And so she's laughing. For those of you just listening, she's laughing. For those of you watching, you can see her laughing. But I think for me, that was challenging, because I then, not at the very start, there was more excitement at the start, like, oh, we're going to create this, and this is like channeled through us, and this is amazing. And we always knew it was our mission. But I remember one time we were both reaching out to different people, like to like chat to collaborate with, to just have real like nice conversations with people in business that we felt that we could really work with. And one of them, obviously I won't name, and this person was a really great person, and that Sarah had worked with this person before. And as soon as I went on, and this person was so nice, but this person, I don't even want to say if it's a he or she, this person said like, well, what I heard was, you can't say that, and you can't say that, and you really shouldn't say that, and dilute down that. No, that's fine. This isn't what this person said.
I'm pretty sure that is what he said, though.
Yeah, is it? Right? I'm being polite. I'm being polite. And instantly my body just went, run. And this is a thing for me, like when I'm in a space like that, when someone tries to contain me or my voice, I feel unsafe. And I feel inauthentic, and I want to run. And I remember, like, you were super polite, Sarah. It was so very early on. I mean, it was only like a month in, and you came off, and you knew me, so you were looking at my face, and I was trying not to be rude, but I just wanted to say, I'm out of here. Like, I'm not doing that. And it felt like I was having a bodily allergic reaction to it. But you were really cool. You were like, listen, it's like fine. Like,
yeah. And I think that, you know, like you said, you know, we talked about this in a different episode, there are different versions and different evolutions of being, you know, authentic. There's ones where we feel safe to be in our own authenticity, in our own space, on our own terms. Then comes the next journey where we're bringing our authenticity to other people and in that shared space. And you know, I was kind of laughing about, you know, asking permission. And the reason why I was laughing was I can remember, because both me and Jill had this, like we are fiercely independent women. we're really independent. You know, we, Jill grew up in a single parent household. You know, my parents got divorced, so my mum was a single parent for a large proportion of my life. And, you know, I grew up where it was like you had to be independent. Woman. I had to be a strong woman.
Me too.
You weren't to trust other people. You weren't to rely on other people. And all of a sudden it was like, you know, we're in this position where we're sharing ideas, we're sharing a business, and we're sharing money. So me and Jill we wouldn't even pay for a coffee on our business.
No, Sarah, we never took a single penny.
We never took a single penny. Ourselves.
We never took a single penny out of our business for a year. And we were like, I'd gone from having my own money, just doing my thing. And actually it worked well, because when you're in flow and you're happy, your business flows. I swear, like it really, really does. And I went into, that money's not mine.
Yeah,
that's not my money. I can't touch it. I'm buying all this stuff. Like that would have, if I'd been in my old business, I'd have put it through as a business expense. I wasn't doing it because I was like, that's not my money.
Yeah. So it was a real learning period for both of us in different ways and for different reasons. But again, that is authenticity in business. That is, we've had to have, you know, the courage. It's almost like, you know, it's like being in a marriage. Like we have a coach and we've got joint coaching sessions with each other. It's like couples therapy sometimes.
It's so uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable.
You know, but actually, it's like actually speaking your truth and being your authentic self should be the easiest thing in the world, but it can feel like the bloody hardest thing, because it requires so much bravery and courage. And it's when you're doing it on your own, there's no one really, like when I had my own business, there was no one to answer to. I nailed it. I was like, this is amazing. And then I knew that the next evolution was to create intuitive psychology with you. And I knew there would be a level of upgrading, but it was probably another level of upgrading where you're back in a marriage almost, where, I mean, Daryl and I, like, Daryl's my partner. I mean, we've been together 16 years. Like, we are such a great together, but I'm so independent, and so is he. Like, I've got my own money, he's got his own money. So all of a sudden I went from that to you. But I remember when we were in London, Sarah, and I was like, I just feel, I was having this moment where I was trying to explain to Sarah but I was trying to articulate what I was trying to say. But what I was really trying to say was, this is really weird for me sharing a joint bank account with someone when I don't even do it with my bloody partner. But I was so conscious of not hurting her feelings or making her feel uncomfortable or annoying her. I was holding back parts of my authentic truth, where all I needed to say was, this feels unsafe for me, and trust that you would get that.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I totally did, and we cultivated a little kind of like plan and strategy, and we built up that safety. And that's the beauty. It's been such a healing, it's so healing to be held in your authenticity, and to really get out of that habitual loop of predicting what will happen, and that overthinking of, like, you know, even taking time off for the business. Like, you know, if I need a day off because I'm maybe feeling a little stressed, or I've had a bit more on that week.
Or you want to get your hair and your nails done. I want to get
my hair and my nails done. You know, at the start I would be like, hey, so I just, because all of these, and I would go into this big long narrative with Jill, and Jill would be like, cool, see you later.
Cool, doll, just take that, whatever you need.
Take whatever you need. So it's so healing to be in your authenticity. But we're sharing this because, you know, it takes practice to be that, especially if you're in a partnership. But even if you're not in a partnership, you know, having those communications, like, you know, we talked about the person that we had that call with, and, you know, there was a real, you should change this and you can't say this and people won't respond. And it's having that real courage and bravery. And we've had that multiple times. So we have had incredible success with intuitive psychology. We're just coming up to being 2 years old, and in that time frame, we've been at Fern Cotton's Happy Place twice. We've been at Chris Evans Car Fest. We've been featured in, you know, BBC Radio, like multiple press outlets. as well as kind of attracting in the most incredible community of
students.
Coaches, students, change makers,
doing.
unbelievable, and what they're doing in the world. And that's a big reason why we put ourselves out there and forward, is so that people know the work that our coaches do, and that you reach out to them and you understand intuitive psychology and the movement that it is. But let's take you behind the scenes. Not everyone will immediately get it. Like, we had a call with we were considering investing in a bit of PR, which we haven't done. So all of our press opportunities, everything that you see us kind of being featured in, that comes from us directly reaching out to people. But we thought, maybe if that's what we can do alone, imagine if we got someone in from a PR perspective. And again, we'll not name any kind of like names, and this individual was perfectly lovely, but the advice was, you'll have to change and filter your message in order for me to get you into the press. We may have to adjust your messaging in a certain way. And we both came off the call and we were like, no, thank you. Like, that's not what we're here to do. And you'll hear us say this on social media. Like, we're not for everyone, and that's okay. Yeah. There's different people for different people. And there are different levels that you can resonate with conversations like this. When I was on my early stages of my own journey, you know, positive affirmations was a big aha moment for me. Like, I was like, what? Like, you know, and gratitude journaling. And then as your consciousness evolves, as you evolve, you know, then you open yourself up to things like shadow work, the past, inner child healing, you know, manifestation, and you change and grow, and different people are there with you at different points of the journey, and that's okay. And we accept that. And how we stay true to our authenticity is getting back to that meaning and that purpose, and really being clear on like who we are and what we're here for, because neither of us want to build a business or create something where we can't be ourselves.
No, I mean, again, I have reactions when you're talking. I'm like, no, I would rather not bother. I'd rather have no business than be a false version of myself. I'd rather not have it. Sarah, that is how passionate I am about it. And I want to say this to you. Do not filter who you are, because that isn't freedom. You're just prisoner to someone else, honestly. Like, don't do it. And I'm not saying that you go in, if you believe in aliens and things like that, great. You know, so, some people, you know, if you went and try, and chances are you're probably not going to sell your corporate package to a corporate organisation if you're talking about that, right? So just recognise that. Yeah. But there will be a huge group of people that will resonate with that. Some people aren't ready, but don't change who you are, because you are just, you're just denying a part of yourself. You're not in your authenticity, and you will know when you're not in your authenticity. It will eat away at you, and honestly, it causes you to feel like dog-tired emotionally, physically. It impacts your relationships, impacts everything.
It does, and it's one of the biggest barriers, I believe, to your full business growth, because you're so busy, you know, writing copy that you think people want to hear. You're so busy trying to be like other people, or trying to filter in order to fit in, when you know that you're meant to stand out. The magic happens whenever you have an idea, a passion, a purpose, and you combine that with your authenticity. Like, you are the person that is meant to deliver that message in your voice, in your way. That will resonate for the people that it's meant to reach. And for those that it's not meant to reach, that's okay. Yeah. But you can't be everything to everybody. If you are, it just doesn't work. It's an impossible task. You're setting yourself up for failure. Will some people not get it? 100%.
Will you be judged? Yes.
Yeah. Of course you're going to be judged. Like, that's part of it. But it's stepping back, and it's meeting and viewing those people with unconditional positive regard and accepting where they are. Like, we came off both of those calls and we didn't blame them. We didn't, you know, slag them off or go, God, what was that about? We kind of went, cool, that person doesn't get it, and that's okay. And we move and we grow.
To be brutally honest, and this is not a dig at these people, they're not in their authenticity.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's not like, oh, I'm better than you because I am. It's not about that. It's just like, and be honest, Sarah, I don't think we can really work with people that aren't even willing to go there. Like, that's it. Like, and you know, when you're there, you see when other people aren't, and it's not a judgment. It's not that I am better than. There's none of that. It's just knowing what's right for you. If you're working with people that are out of integrity or not in their authenticity, that's you not being in your authenticity. And really just trusting yourself. Like you talked about judgment there, Sarah, and I think even as we come to the end of this episode, know that you're always going to be judged. There will always be people judging you, but you may as well be judged for being your most authentic, truthful, honest and aligned self, because it won't sting as much.
It doesn't.
It won't sting as
much. And
much.
that sounds paradoxical because you think, it's that exposure, especially when you have created a business that you love and is close to your heart. It can feel extremely vulnerable. The thought of someone attacking that business, we associate with attacked ourselves because it's so closely linked to our hearts. And the irony is when they do, it doesn't sting as much. And you see that person and you go, that's okay. Like, you don't get it. I understand. You can see their pain, their potential projection, or just the fact that they're not meant to resonate with your message. And it's so much easier to let it go. I would take that all day, every day, than the pain and frustration of trying to live out a business every day, trying to fit in, trying to be something that I know that I'm not, versus the liberation, the joy, the freedom, and also the growth and the awkward conversations, that come with allowing yourself to kind of like emerge like fully authentically. If you want to grow your business, if you want to find joy and freedom in your business, more than time freedom, but a real sense of freedom within yourself, then authenticity is the key to any business. It will grow your business. It will grow your sense of satisfaction and your happiness, but it takes those daily commitments to really feel the emotions that you feel and to take action even when it feels uncomfortable.
Take the action. Amazing. Another good episode, Sarah. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.